Now, we have heard that the countries from east and west, north and south, agreed to follow on with IIASA. And that's why we have decided to have the session which is now to come, session of the IIASA Council. And this session will be done in 4 different panels because we have 20 council members, so we cannot have them all here. That was basically a logistical decision, but also concise decision about the thematics. I would like to invite the first segment of our council, which will be discussing the first theme, which is science for bridge building during beyond the Cold War. I would like to ask first Alexei Gvishany to come forward, Gerhard Glatzel, Yingling Zhang from China, Peter Lemke, and Kazu Takemoto. Let me just quickly introduce them to you as they are coming up. Alexei Gvishany, I don't think he needs an introduction for 2 reasons, because he's such a great man, but also because his name, right? It was already memorized a couple of times in Hofburg, even by president of this country. He is representing the Russian NMO. Again, NMO is standing for National Member Organization. Gerhard Glatzel is representing the Austrian NMO. Yingling Zhang is representing the Chinese NMO. Peter Lemke, German NMO. And Kazu Takemoto, Japanese NMO. We will start with a short framing presentation by Alexei Gvishany.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The IIASA started as an important scientific instrument that bridged East and West. Actually, it has been started by 2 countries, and by the United States of America and the Soviet Union. These 2 countries were in the position of the Cold War, and there were some contacts, but very weak. And that was the first attempt when the scientists of these 2 countries started actually to work together in one place. Next slide, please. IIASA bridge building during the Cold War was really important, not only scientifically, but also politically. So at that time, IIASA played very important political role. The activities in bridging were creation of large-scale joint research projects between the key partners of the Cold War, USA, UK, France, Germany, and the USSR. Data exchange between the key players, including the wide development of the world data centers. Focusing the bridging activities' political goals important for the key players. The IIASA activities have been discussed in the participating countries at the highest level. Next slide, please. I would like to thank Austrian President and many other people that my family name was mentioned several times, and please accept our deep appreciation. I would like to mention one person who was not mentioned, but who played a very important role in creation of IIASA. This is Mr. McGeorge Bundy, who was scientific assistant of President Kennedy. And the idea to create IIASA was born much earlier than 1972. And McGeorge Bundy played really an important role in that. Next slide, please. IIASA was very successful in the beginning, and then IIASA experienced a hard time 10 years afterwards. You see on this photo 2 IIASA directors along with the chair of the Council and Chancellor of Austria, Bruno Kreisky, who are now in this room, and they know that in the 10th anniversary of IIASA, that was a complicated time because the United States of America decided to leave IIASA. And that was not officially announced, but similar idea was worked out in the Soviet Union as well. That crisis was overcame due to the very efficient work of IIASA leaders, and especially Roger Levien, as I heard from many sources, played a very important role in that. Finally, American Academy of Sciences, as NMO, has been substituted to another American academy, to a private academy, and IIASA continue to work. Next slide, please. At the present time, we all, I think, have a feeling that IIASA has never been so strong and so successful as it is now. So the only challenge the IIASA has now is to come up at the same political level as it was in the beginning of IIASA. But there is no East and West anymore. The countries who had different political system now live in the same system, capitalism. But on the other hand, other socialist countries joined IIASA, like China, the greatest countries. Vietnam is going to join IIASA shortly. So again, there is now it's not East-West. I would say this is socialist-capitalist collaboration. Then there are many other new challenges in our more, I would say, multi-pole world. And present IIASA bridge building with the member states is, which actually is the topic of our session, NMO session, is strong involvement of NMOs into IIASA scientific planning. Regular presentations of leading IIASA researchers results to NMOs delegate at their evaluation. And this is new. This is very well done by new IIASA administration and new director, Pavel Kabat. We appreciate that. NMO workshops at IIASA with invitation of IIASA scientific leaders. Working visits of IIASA directors to member states for close work with their NMOs. Here I would like to stress that being during 4 years, about 4 years now, Russian representative of Russian Academy of Sciences into IIASA, I was involved in 2 visits of IIASA directors to my country. Detlev Winterfeld visited us, and then Pavel Kabat. Both visits were extremely important. I think this is a very good way of bridging. Fostering regional IIASA NMO projects, deployment of YSSP activities in the member states out of IIASA headquarters. And this we see shortly, we will see shortly in South Africa. Next slide. Another way of bridging that IIASA provides nowadays is bridging between developed and developing world. IIASA orientation towards, can you come back? IIASA orientation towards BRIC countries, incorporation of developing countries into IIASA member states, focusing on the topics important for both developed and developing countries, active collaboration with scientific communities in the IIASA founding members. Next slide. And so, if we can leave that, there are 2 questions that arise for us now, and I would like to thank you very much.
Thank you, Alexei. We are now going to ask other panel members basically to respond to some of the statements which Alexei gave, but also to these two leading questions which were put in front of you as a framing for your intervention. Gerhard.
Well, about bridge building, you all have noticed that today is the Austrian national holiday, showing the flags, and therefore I will talk as a concerned citizen about problems which are very evident. One of the most frustrating things a scientist can see is that so few political decisions are based on science and knowledge. The reasons are many. I will just mention two. First is that the toolbox of scientists, good scientific practice, publication, peer reviewing, is no match for the toolbox of lobbyists, which may contain poor science, obviously also phony science, false arguments, ample funds for media campaigns, and in some cases even corruption. If this becomes evident, it results in erosion of trust and governance in democracy. This is what we see. But even more serious to me is that decisions based on the so-called will of the people increasingly reflect distrust in science and pre-area of enlightenment perceptions of the world. Fundamentalism and oversimplistic perception of complex phenomena shows that science fails to get embedded in the logic of many people. Scientists and teachers may contribute to simplifications by the use of catchwords such as equality, inequality, sustainability, balance of nature, saving energy, and so on, without explaining their complexity. Giving every person the same dose of medicine is definitely not equality. Natural disasters are not necessarily the result of the disturbance of the balance of nature by humans, and as some see it as a punishment for sins by divine action. And saving energy by a better insulation of a house might not save energy on a global scale when the money formerly used for heating is spent for a skiing holiday or a flight to Hawaii. So I strongly feel that these problems deserve intense efforts of developing a solid system analysis-based conceptual network on the phenomenon of science not reaching the ordinary citizen. We have talked a lot about reaching decision makers, but the ordinary citizen, and you cannot say 30% are just stupid. This is not the solution for society. And I think there should be a massive effort to bridge building between science and the common people at all levels of education. Thank you.
Gerhard, before I move to other colleagues on the panel, this plea for being more efficient in communicating science in order to make it better used by policies, civil society, industry. Do you think IIASA is doing some contribution to that, and should we be doing more of that kind of work?
Well, definitely it has the tools. Definitely IIASA has the tools, but I think there can be done more by trying to reach the teachers basically and to reach the school children, because this is the next generation and they should understand that things are not as simple as we try to, or as is tried to tell them.
Thank you. Let me now go to yet another part of the world, and this is part which became part of IIASA after the crisis was solved, as we were explained in the 90s. Let me go to China.
So my name is Yinglan Zhang, and I'm the IIASA secretary for China, and my council member has something to previous arranged, so I'm doing this on behalf of him. Actually, China joined the IIASA in 2002, and then we don't have too much to say before the 30 years of IIASA, but we do have something to say about the last 10 years since China joined IIASA. When we celebrate the 40 years anniversary of IIASA today, and actually the Chinese NMO did have a celebration of 10 years anniversary of joining IIASA in Beijing in September. So we are really happy to see, we are not regret. We made the good decision in 2002 to join IIASA. Actually, if one looks at the 20 member countries of IIASA, you might able to figure out there are 10 countries joined IIASA in the last 10 years, and China is the first one of them. So this, if you wanted to look at the IIASA change from Eastern, Western, you heard a lot, and now North and South, and nowadays the global. So I think the global IIASA's research is driven by the global problems that is draws attention of more countries to join IIASA. Our foundation, National Natural Science Foundation, is a funding agency. And then during the last 10 years of joining IIASA, we made a very active and productive collaboration with IIASA. When we celebrate the anniversary, we had more than 50 YSP participants at IIASA during the last 10 years. I should keep my talk short. And the last question I would like to bring up is along the changes of IIASA, we should think about what's IIASA's culture. We should work together and then to have a multicultural of IIASA, harmonic culture of IIASA, and then for the best, for the prospective future of IIASA. Thank you very much.
Yes, and Chairman, I think you noticed the number of 50 young scientists have come to IIASA from China to join our young summer scientist program, which is a big success. What was not said really in this short presentation, China celebrated too. China celebrated 10 years anniversary of being in IIASA recently, and we have seen how large the scope of the collaboration has become. However, China is a major world player, and as you know, we hope that the collaboration will become even more tight, more expanded. Do you have some comments about that?
Actually, we're looking forward to have the IIASA's next step of collaboration with its NMO countries. That means it's more strategic and more managed by the more countries, more NMO countries. And we're looking forward to this initiative very much.
Thank you again. Both Germany and Japan has been at the drawing table of IIASA. Of course, at that time, it were two Germanys, so there's a bridge built, of course. And Japan was not really the East-West European country, but they were at the beginning of the drawing table. So I would like first ask Peter and then Kazu to tell us about their observations.
Well, as you said, in 1972, there were two German states, the founding members of IIASA, and for nearly 20 years until the reunification, IIASA was one of the very few places where scientists from East and West in Germany could meet and could work together. And there were very few places on Earth where actually that happened. Now, since then, after the reunification, there was only one German state member, and we had in the late 90s an observer status. So we were not really an intimate part of the family. And one of the conditions that our government put forward to become a member again was that this east-west bridging would be enhanced to a north-south bridging, and that global questions should be worked on. And I think this, with the new research plan, happened, and since 2003 we are a full member again. And with the new research plan, and which was laid out concerning the global challenges, the German NMO is very happy how the course of IIASA is going. Personally, one of my big wishes was that the water issue would be strengthened at IIASA, and now with the new research plan and with the future work on the water assessment, this is now happening. So not only the German NMO is happy, but personally I'm very happy how the course of IIASA is going forward. So I wish IIASA all the best for the next few years. I will be around for a couple of years more, but yeah, thanks to all the engagement in these new topics.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. Kazu.
Thank you. Our NMO Japan is pleased to join this event to celebrate 4th anniversary of IIASA as one of its founding member organizations. Due to the limited time frame, I would like to focus on my own personal experience in working with at IIASA here in Luxembourg in the context of the IIASA's role. In 1995, I joined decision-making analysis team, so-called DMA, as a visiting professor for 1 year. My initial task was to be a liaison between DMA team and the AIM modeling group, which was created by late Dr. Moriter. And at the same time, I was also asked by the director, Peter Dianoshi, to take up a special mandate in terms of to explore the possibility to expand the IIASA's outreach to other Asian and Pacific countries in the context of IIASA network. And since that time, Japan was the only one member country in the region in those days. We organized IIASA Days in Japan in 1996, including public symposium in Tokyo, and some visit to relevant research institutes such as NIS in Tsukuba and RITE in Kyoto. Among the delegation members, I recognize a couple of leading the delegate members here in this room. Dr. Joe Yeager and Dr. Naki around here, and I'm very happy to be reunion of that event. Anyway, that was 16 years ago in 1996. Now we have found many member countries in this region, such as China, India, Republic, Korea, Pakistan, Malaysia, and Indonesia, and this time Australia. This is the amazing change that I am very happy to be a part of the kind of the historical trend. And the Japan NMO would like to commit itself to continue our partnership with IIASA and other NMOs by making full use of our expertise and experiences. We have benefited a lot from being a partner of IIASA. I welcome new initiative on global water and assessment in addition to energy co-benefit project. Finally, I would like to conclude my remarks by wishing IIASA to play a key role not only in bridging divisions, but also in further developing a fora to link a variety of issues, a variety of players, and a wide range of issues. I am sure that IIASA will be able to contribute to international community through these roles. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So I think that we can conclude after this intervention that those 4 NMOs are really big building blocks for IIASA. Thank you very much.